If you could please introduce yourself as who are you and what are you doing, and tell a little bit about yourself.
I'm the Reverend Trista Soendker Nicholson. I am an ordained minister in the United Methodist Church, and I'm serving as the college age and young adult pastor at Missouri United Methodist.
Okay. And just giving a little bit more background on my question. So, effective beginning August 1st, 2012, Affordable Care Act requires health plans for women, including contraceptives, without charging a co-payment, a deductible, or co-insurance. However, religious employers that issue group health plans are exempt from requirement to cover expenses of women's contraceptives. So, as a woman employed by a religious employer, how do you feel about it? And do you think that Affordable Care Act made an appropriate decision?
Yes, I think the Affordable Care Act made a great decision. Studies have shown that the more access that women have to contraceptives and birth control, the fewer abortions that are needed, and shows the drop in people's needs to seek abortions. And so we want to support that as much as possible. And I'm blessed because the United Methodist Church believes that all women should have access to contraceptions, and they were a supporter of the Affordable Health Care Act. So.
Okay. But as far as it goes for other churches, do you think that it's fair that some women are not having the same opportunity to get contraceptives as, for example, other women employed?
I would say that my belief is that all women should have access to contraceptives and ongoing health care. It saddens me to hear about organizations that are restricting that availability. I've had some friends, it's been interesting watching this debate unfold on Facebook, because I have some friends that work for organizations that this is not an option for them, and they seem to be fine with it because they are working for an agency that they believe respects their religious point of view, and because of that have chosen to work for that organization, and so they support that decision on behalf of their employer. But for me, with the job market the way that it is right now, we know that switching jobs isn't always an option for people, and some people might be in positions just to make a paycheck. And if this is another burden on top of an already existing financial burden of the family, then that is denying access to health care that some women would need and are unable to pay for out of their own pocket. And so that does sadden me. And they might not have the opportunity to look at another job position and be able to apply and then eventually be hired into that position, just because the job market continues to be pretty tight around mid-Missouri. So
do you believe it's more of a personal choice, a moral choice, not to provide women with contraceptives?
I think for the organizations, they're making a personal choice as a religious organization and using their religious polity to justify why that decision has been made. And so I think that, unfortunately, since they're the ones making a lot of news around that, a lot of people then assume that all Christians believe that way. And so there's a lot of education that needs to be done around organizations such as the United Methodist Church that do want women to have access to health care. So.
Okay. If you had a choice, would you, if you were an Affordable Care Act, would you make it a choice of an employer or a choice of a woman? Do you think it's fair to a woman to choose either or not she has access to it, or employer, since it's providing the health care for the woman and the employee?
I would say that it should be up to the woman to decide. I would hate for my employer to be able to make a decision on my behalf regarding my health care. And, moving beyond just contraceptives, I think that that's true if, let's say that an employer one day decides that mental health care isn't a priority for their organization, or maybe they don't even believe that there is such a thing as mental health care needs. And then they start to deny someone seeking mental health care assistance. And that would that would be horrific as well. And so I think it should be up to the woman who knows her needs and knows how she what she needs in order to be a holistically well person, to make the decision of what is best for her and not her employer.